The Goosebumps TV show was 74 episodes of awesome, with some exceptions. While the majority of the 62 original books did get adapted, some did not. However, like any production, there were a lot of ideas thrown around that ultimately didn't see the light of day. This includes entire Goosebumps books that were supposed to or could have gotten a TV adaptation, but did not. I'm going to share which books those are and why they became lost episodes. Oh, and don't worry, we are going to talk about Night of the Living Dummy 1. The Abominable Snowman of Pasadena is one of the more forgettable books from the original Goosebumps series. The story is about a brother and sister going with their father on a trip to Alaska and discovering a frozen monster. They end up taking the creature back to Pasadena, California, where it becomes free and runs amok. This book never got turned into an episode, but it was supposed to. Protocol Entertainment, the company that produced the Goosebumps episodes, had the Abominable Snowman of Pasadena as one of their planned episodes for Season 3. However, once Season 3 came out, there was no Abominable Snowman episode. So what happened? Dan Angel, the showrunner for the Goosebumps TV series, said in an interview that the Snowman monster was too hard to pull off, which does make sense, especially considering the budget and the amount of time the producers had to create each episode. A more popular and recognizable Goosebumps monster is Monster Blood. Despite that, only one Monster Blood book was made into a TV episode. This is even more bizarre since there were 4 Monster Blood stories in the original Goosebumps series. Well, similar to the Abominable Snowman, the reason why the other Monster Blood books weren't adapted was due to the scale of the Monster Blood sequels. Monster Blood 2 had a giant hamster in it, and in Monster Blood 3, the main character Evan becomes a giant. The budget and resources the Goosebumps TV show had wouldn't have been able to pull these off, so they were skipped. However, since Monster Blood was so popular, the show creators decided to make a second Monster Blood episode. This episode was called More Monster Blood, and while it was a sequel to the first Monster Blood episode, it was an entirely original story and not written by R.L. Stine. The whole episode takes place in one location, a plane, which shows just how tight the budget for the Goosebumps TV show was. Now this next nugget of info isn't about a particular episode, but it's still fascinating. The intro to the Goosebumps TV show is iconic, with R.L. Stine looking over a town and his briefcase of stories getting blown in the wind. However, there was at least an idea to change it. Starting with Season 3, the opening would begin with a shot winding down a corridor. It would stop at a door with R.L. Stine's name on it and go through. Inside, R.L. Stine would be writing a story on his computer or typewriter. I'm assuming that after this, the intro would cut to clips from the TV show, just like the original opening. For whatever reason, this didn't happen though. My guess is there may not have been enough time to film a new opening, or the creators may have just decided not to go through with it. However, the intro was still changed for Season 4, mainly just by adding in some effects and changing the music slightly. You may have never heard of the Thumbprint of Doom. That's because it was a short story from Even More Tales to give you goosebumps. The story is about 4 kids, Trisha, Jeremy, Harold, and Carla. Carla is superstitious and constantly gets in the way of the 3 other kids having fun. They end up dragging Carla to meet a fortune teller at a carnival, where Carla is told that she'll have a terrible future and is given the Thumbprint of Doom. Carla runs out and the other kids follow behind. Carla tells them that she knows that the fortune teller's thumbprint isn't real because only she can give the Thumbprint of Doom. She presses her finger onto Trish, Jeremy, and Harold's foreheads and they run away in terror. It's then revealed that it was all a prank and that the fortune teller was actually Carla's mom. It's a pretty decent short story, and it had the chance at being turned into a TV episode. However, the scriptwriter, Neil Shusterman, decided to adapt Awesome Ants from Still More Tales to give you Goosebumps instead. The reason was that Shusterman felt he could do more with Awesome Ants. Ironically, that spelled doom for a TV adaptation of Thumbprint of Doom. Alright, let's get to it. The holy grail of lost Goosebumps episodes, Night of the Living Dummy 1. This one has been a mystery for years. The Goosebumps TV show adapted Night of the Living Dummy 2 and 3 and even Bride of the Living Dummy from Series 2000, but not the first book. All the episodes retain their original title, making it even more obvious that the first Night of the Living Dummy was missing. There have been countless theories and explanations of what happened. Some have little to no evidence, and others seem kind of legit. A few sources say that Night of the Living Dummy 1 was supposed to be made for Season 4, but for one reason or another, it didn't happen. Some people say that the episode was made, but got banned for being too scary and or violent. Going off that, people have even claimed that they saw a Night of the Living Dummy 1 episode years ago. A variation of the banned theory is that an adaptation of the first Night of the Living Dummy story was in development, but got pulled halfway through due to the creators realizing that the story was going to be too much for kids. The banned or canceled theories do provide an explanation for why the TV Slappy looks so different from his book counterpart. The thought is that the Slappy dummy used in the Goosebumps TV show was originally actually going to be Mr. Wood, the main villain of the first Night of the Living Dummy book. In the story, Mr. Wood has red hair, just like the version of Slappy in the Goosebumps TV show. The theory is that the Goosebumps TV show creators were creating a Mr. Wood dummy, but when the episode didn't happen, they decided just to change the dummy a bit and make him Slappy. That seems to make sense. However, if Night of the Living Dummy 1 was supposed to be part of Season 4, then this theory falls flat on its face, since Night of the Living Dummy 2 was part of Season 1. On the topic of Mr. Wood, a less wild theory is that the creators of the show didn't want to adapt the first Night of the Living Dummy, since Slappy wasn't the main villain. We could keep going on, but either way, the real question is, does a Night of the Living Dummy 1 episode exist at all? If so, where is it? And if not, why not? Well, 25 years after the Goosebumps TV show premiered, we finally got an answer. A website called Conventional Relations did an entire article on the history of the Goosebumps TV series. They interviewed members of the cast and crew, and one question that got brought up was the Night of the Living Dummy 1 episode. The show's producer, Steve Levitan, gave this answer. There were a bunch of books we tried during the outline stage before there was a first draft script. We just decided, no, this isn't gonna work. Let's move on to another one. There's no lost episode that was shot. Rick Drew wrote the Night of the Living Dummy 2 episode and was asked in an interview why the decision was made to start the second dummy book instead of the first. Here's what he said. I don't know why, but Dan Angel and Billy Brown, the showrunners for Goosebumps, felt the second story was a stronger one to start with. The challenge with all the Goosebumps stories is that some of them don't have a lot of real plot in the traditional TV sense of storytelling. Some of them needed more fleshing out than others to make an entertaining half hour of TV. Also, what's scary in a kid's book is not necessarily going to be scary for TV, so that's all part of the process. Well, in the words of Thanos,
reality is often disappointing.
If you're looking for more depression, check out this video on the top 10 saddest Goosebumps moments.